Good
It's
evening and welcome to TravelDine. Today we have with us Chef Jomon, the Chef de Cuisine at the Lalit London. Chef Jomon is known for creating modern narratives for Indian food. He experiments with his flavor profiles to create new dishes that complement timeless Indian cuisine. I'm in love with his Instagram account. It's a tribute to his various experimentations, his love for Indian food, his vision, and his innovative use of Indian ingredients. Welcome, Chef.
Thank you very much. Thanks for your all good words.
Hey, Chef, I to start with, you have been working extensively with Indian ingredients. You've been doing a lot of experimentations. Before I launch into and asking you about the particular issue we're dealing with today, we also would love to know the kind of work you've been doing, the ingredients you're working with, the kind of experimentations you've been doing.
See, it's basically for a simple words. I mean, we do get all the ingredients what you have in India, what you had in India. See, sometimes we just the very typical ingredients like tomatoes, onions. We may not exactly get what we used to do it in India. For example, we want to make a makhani sauce or like paneer makhani or butter chicken. I mean, the tomatoes what we used to get are very plummy, very soury, very tasty tomatoes we used to get in India. Or here, it's quite hard to get that same extra taste of the tomatoes. So it reflects on the taste in the initial stage, and the water. Obviously, the chlorine incorporated water what comes in. I mean, it's all had an initial stage. It all had an issues to get the correct palate. And for example, I mean, we had a butter chicken, we had a dal baluchi or dal makhani back home. So from the first spoonful of mouth, we can tell exactly, okay, it has to click the memories. Okay, I had this butter chicken somewhere back home. So that's the memories have to click in your mind when you're having a dish. That was somewhere it was lacking in the initial stage of my career. Then got tackled with the spices what we used. I mean, we have our own suppliers who supply Indian spices and Indian ingredients, Indian vegetables to the hotels or to the restaurants. And exactly, I mean, the fish or the meat was one of the great challenges. For example, you want to make a fish kebab, so we have to depend on the locally harvested fish. I mean, not every time we won't get the perfect ones. So we have to work it out what marinations goes well with what fish, and how we can combine the spices. When I talking about spices, I'm not talking about the heat. I'm talking about the spices what we use like cardamoms, peppers, and all like that. So how we can incorporate that into the fish. So that was a big challenge. I mean, some fishes doesn't fit in skewers while cooking in tandoor. It falls off. So we have to identify what are the flaky fish coming into the market, what are the chunky fish coming into the market, and how we can differentiate them in cooking styles. So the flaky fish we never put in tandoor because it's flakes off. I mean, it's rolls off from the tandoor. So we have to start marinating and grilling them on the pan, and the finishing it in the oven. So we have adapted cooking techniques to refine our flavors with or the fish or the meat over here. And the cooking habits of the localites implemented a lot. We used to have a fish curry. I mean, I'm from Kerala, so fish curry is like a soul to me. So we used to have cut the fish and brew it with the sauces. I mean, over here people are not in that kind of eating habit. So they want their meat, they respect their meal, they respect their meal. That's what I personally felt like. So if I serve a fish or a meat, so they want to see what the fish looks like. They want to see how the fillet looks like. So they want to see that chunkiness. It has to be juicy inside. It has to grill perfectly. The silver skin is crispy on the outer side and juicy in the inner side. So that is the cooking habits of the local people. So we have to adapt that to feed our local customers or local diners. At the same point, shouldn't compromise any of the taste from back home. So it was a great challenge at that time, but we knuckled it down. That's what I believe. So
So you work a lot with seafood.
I personally love to work with seafood. And even vegetarians or the vegetables also. But it's like I am a seafood lover and a meat lover, so I personally more like to work with them. But in a menu, it has to balance from all the sides. So
Yeah.
the same way I used to, what to call, like, I mean, I used to brought up in a such a way. I mean, fish was one of the very unique or everyday item in the menu.
Absolutely. And you know, now of course the restaurants have been shut, the hotels have been shut for the last what, six
Five
months,
plus months.
5 6 months now. What has the journey been? If you go away from what you're doing to what's happening with the restaurants in London, what has been the journey been like for restaurants in London? Are people going out and dining? What has been the effect of the lockdown? Like for instance, in a lot of places they keep saying, a lot of cities and countries are saying that a lot of hotel restaurants may just not open at all. What is the situation on ground in London? That as a chef working from London for so many years, how do you look at it?
From my 13 years of London life experience, I haven't seen, in fact, the whole world haven't seen something like this in their career or in their life. Um, it was like I mean, only things we had to tactic the situation. I mean, when the government announced, okay, the hospitality industry is going to lockdown, so we had to take some precautions. I mean, we had to inform the team, so the whole hotel operation, it's a running operation of the hotel had to shut down. So we had some ongoing food was in the premises, so we had to knuckle down. I mean, we have to serve them somewhere else. I mean, some had to put in the bin. We didn't have any options. We didn't have any clue when are we going to reopen. At the same time, I'm working in a hotel, as you said, Lalit London. We have 80 rooms hotel. It's like a boutique hotel, and which has been well maintained. It was a school before, and it took around 5 years to renovate to become into a school hotel, and we still run the hotel in a theme of a school. I mean, we have a private dining room called teachers room. It was a teacher's room before, and even rooms we don't call them as a single room or double room. We call them a senior classrooms or junior classrooms. So that's how proudly we maintained our decorum. So it's been 5 6 months. It's been completely shut. So yeah, still we need some ongoing cleaning process has to going on. Even in fact, my GM with the family shifted to the hotel because there is no guest. I mean, someone has to take care of everything. There is hardly few staffs. I mean, hardly few securities running around, and we had really good, beautiful garden. I mean, it's all small things. I mean, it's all matters when it comes to that reopening stage. So that garden, that plants had to take care of. Now everyone is looking forward for the opening. Everyone is talking back concerning that, okay, we are getting back to the market. Many restaurants reopened. Many in fact, government helped in many of the hospitality sectors. They came up with a scheme called Eat Out to help out for a month. It was in the month of August. If you go and dine in particular restaurants, I mean, we can as an outlet, as an restaurants, we can register to the scheme. So if you are in the team, so all the diners will get a 50% discounts, and balance 50 percentage they can claim it from the government. So it was a great success, I must say, as a hospitality guy or as a personal family man. And I took my family out to see what it.
Where did you go? Where did you dine?
It was a restaurant in one of the high streets, and I mean, I couldn't go to London. I mean, it was quite hard to take my kids with the family to dine out London at the same time. I didn't want to put myself into the risk, so we locally dined. What I have personally feel, the people started coming out. It was only Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I mean, it's not towards the weekend. So Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday is a considerably a very dead time of the week in terms of the business. So the government say like it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. If you dine out in particular restaurants, you'll get 50% discounts only on food and non-alcoholic beverages. So people started coming out. That is one of the main thing. I mean, the money was not flowing to the government or was not flowing to the business. So the people started coming out. Some of the restaurants are really packed. I mean, I've seen people are queuing outside the restaurants. What the restaurant have done, they stopped taking reservations.
On these
So
3 days.
exactly. So if people call, either people say, look, sir, we don't have reservations, so people don't go out. So what the restaurants have done, so they stop taking reservations. So that we have to go out and literally queue the queue. I mean, stand in the queue to get into the restaurants. So what happens? I mean, local market, it's got the life back. The people are started coming into the market. So If once, I mean, they're all coming after a couple of months or 3 months or 4 months to the outside world with their family to dine in. So local shops, other than the restaurants, started picking up their business. It was a live great chain. I mean, the cars are coming to the market. The stations, the petrol stations were got filled with cars to get the things on. I mean, I could personally feel a live coming to the market. As a family one, I'm saying all this. And there are some restaurants are not participating on this, but they had, I mean, as a person, I came out, I thought like I'll have dine outside, but unfortunately I didn't get the table. So I will not go back to home without having my meal. I may not have anything in my fridge, or I may not have anything cooked for the dinner. So I didn't have any option. I had to dine out. So there are restaurants which is not participating, but still they can grab some business.
So they're getting spillovers.
Exactly. That's a
Where
correct
there
word.
is too much crowd, they're getting spillovers from those kind of
Exactly, that is a
restaurants.
correct word. So as a family person, I got a family of my wife and 3 kids. So it was for them. It was a fun. Like, I mean, people are going out. I mean, you can see. I mean, kids were really happy. So that charming, that happiness, backfilled after 3 4 months of sitting in home. And as a hospitality guy, as a chef, I must say I have seen life back, colors back into those restaurants. I can see a warmth in the chef's eyes. Okay, something is happening. I mean, they had a even in fact, everyone had a fear of redundancy. What's happening if this exists? So everyone had that fear. What gonna happen? I mean, if this continues, what happened to the jobs? Some hospitality sectors has to. I mean, some of the restaurants from Michelin star background chefs close their own restaurants because they can't survive. Can't blame anyone. That's what the current scenario. I mean, people are not falling. I mean, flying to the country or flying back to the country in terms of tourist. In our rooms, we have 3% occupancy if we open in the month of September. I mean, we were heading up to 100 plus sometimes, and this is the season time. I mean, until September, October is the British summer, and it's a lively climate, I must say. So that is what happening. And for the government, again, they came up with a scheme called furlough. If people are not working, the company saying, say, we are closed because of pandemic reasons, our staffs are sitting home. What government said, government will offer 80% of the salary. Some company, they adjusted 20%, and they given 100% of the staff. Some survive with 80% itself. But in fact, I have heard from many other friends and many other countries. I mean, there is nothing like that. I mean, especially from the Middle East, I do connected with many of the chefs in Middle East. They say like, chefs, we can't do anything. I mean, got information saying that check regularly your notice board. If your name on the notice board, you have to fly back your country whenever the flight reopens. See, that is what the situation. I was just pushing myself into their shoes, and I was thinking, oh my god, I mean, got family in your hand, got so much is going on the payment side. What will happen to those people? But over here, thank god, fingers crossed, the government helped in such a way so everyone can survive
Right.
in some extent. So I do respect that. And people are getting back. I can see the schools are reopened from the last week. My kids been to the school. uh, I'm dropping them in the morning, so I can see, I mean, people are started. The mask is with the life. And if you're putting your dress, I mean, the mask is another addition to their dress code. That's it. I mean, the rest everything is back.
Okay. And I was reading somewhere that literally 65 million meals have been served
Exactly.
in the
Exactly.
oil
Yes.
hotels by different restaurants who are actually
Yes.
participating, which is a huge number.
It
So
is.
do you see a lot of restaurants now surviving effectively?
It is. Plus, one more thing is like, uh, I mean, they can. Um, uh, I mean, for example, I mean, for the restaurants like a small restaurants, they can let the market know, so they can let their community know, so we still exist. We still exist for the business. So once the people started coming, okay, they kept the sanitizers on the sides. The serving guys or the waiters and the waitress are coming with the mask. The full, it's not the mask, I mean the full face mask, so they can see through who is serving you. So people are identifying the situation that, okay, this is safe to come and dine. See, everyone has a fear of COVID or pandemic situation, I mean, what will happen if I go outside and dine? So each and every restaurants who participated all taken a precautionary methods to fight towards the COVID spread. So people are, their fear level comparatively coming down. That is one of the main things. See, once okay, I can, I mean, I fearlessly go to the restaurants and eat food because I know what's the situation, what the precautionary methods are taking. So that helps people to move again to the restaurants. I mean, people are fed up sitting at home, some of them, so they wanted to go out, they wanted to dine out. So everyone had that fear of going out. So once this has been introduced, the people have started and coming in. People have seen what the restaurant side has taken to the health of the diners. So the fear is gone. Then the people regularly start coming. That was the another intake of that.
Yeah, yeah. And but what happens when you move into winters? Because I think I was reading that a lot of restaurants have opened their outdoor dining this British summer, great time to sit outside, dine. With winters approaching most of Europe, Britain, there's also this fear of a second wave of
Yes,
infections because winter makes it worse. We don't have a vaccine as yet.
yes,
Other restaurants thinking in terms of how would they cope with in the winters when you will still have COVID around. Seating indoors will be really limited, unlike an
yes.
outdoor seating which you have today. Is there any plan to deal with cope with what winter months will bring?
Okay, especially from our hotels and our restaurants, what we had taken in consideration, we had a huge restaurant, so we could have held up to nearly 100 people in the restaurants. What we have done, we spread the tables. So we had maintained enough good space in between the tables. So there is, I mean, in terms of social distancing itself, it's not only people. I mean, we got enough space in between tables, so people can, I mean, easily come in and dine, and they're coming only from one side and they're going to the other side. I mean, there is no what do you call a highway, highway transportations inside the hotel. So the entrance and exit towards one side and the other side, and plus people are aware. I mean, the staff has been, I mean, regularly monitored, and the people are coming with temperature check. So all the health and precautionary methods has been taken care of to adapt the window diners. We haven't opened yet. I mean, this is all in paper line on consideration. We do have our regular meetings with the GMs and subordinates and the F&B teams. So this is all in consideration. Once when we are opening, I mean, this all will be in an action to get things in sorted of order.
So would you say that restaurants in hotels may be able to deal with the winters a little better than independent restaurants with smaller spaces, who deal particularly with a smaller space that don't allow for uh, outdoor dining, doesn't allow for social distancing. Outdoor dining, of course, in winter is pretty much difficult, but doesn't allow for social distancing. Do you think restaurants and hotels that open will maybe do better?
See, second wave, it's expected. I mean, my wife is working in a health organization, so she's a nurse. So in their hospital itself, I mean, people are expecting a second wave during the winter. Schools, I mean, everyone is aware of the same situation. So okay, this is what it is. I mean, people are aware. It's not like, I mean, it's only thing. It's not the fear. I mean, people have started understanding it's not the fear or anything. I mean, it's only the precaution measures has to be, I mean, carried forward to prevent this. And in some scenario, I mean, people are been advised it has to come and go. I mean, COVID. Uh, I am a COVID victim. I got
Yeah, you told me you
positive.
survived this,
Yeah,
and yes, yes.
my wife used to work in a COVID ward as an in charge nurse, and even all the precautionary measures we were taken. We were down for nearly 2 to 3 weeks with the kids. I mean, we couldn't take. I mean, it's not like India over here. It's all molecular families. Even we don't have, I mean, much family members around. So we both were down at the same time. It's not
Correct.
that wife were down and then I could survive. No, we were both were down at the same time. So we had to taken care of our kids at the same time. Yeah, when in some stages, I mean, everyone says it has to come and go. I mean, it will create an antibody inside you. It says antibody positive. So if your antibody is positive, you won't get that back. That's what it says. See, when the government it says like it has to come and go, so everyone will be preventive by themselves towards COVID-19. Yes, obviously. In fact, I mean, can't. This is not understandable for every individual or any human beings. Some still in a fear. I mean, people are hearing the lots of stories from India, from other countries of the world. So it's anyway, it's inside in your hardcore there is something. I mean, that fear is one of the main thing. It is there everywhere. So people, yeah, I mean, we also expected a second wave, but at the same time, we can't keep it shut for a long time. We have to survive. I mean, yeah, the government is feeding us until August or September, but after that, that stops. So we have to survive. We didn't have any other option. So there is no one. It's like a British army. I mean, people know, okay, if you go for that field, for the battlefield, I mean, it could happen. It's not a good positive scenario if you go to the warfield, but still people are joining an army. Still people are going for the fight. I mean, it's the same scenario. I mean, we have to take care of our families. I mean, uh, we need to survive in this industry. And only thing, be wise and be proactive and what you call take all the precautionary measures and act.
Chef, what I was asking is that what can the government do? What more do you think the UK government do? You think to support the restaurant industry?
See, I think the government is already doing so much. They have offered grant to the small business to survive, uh, and they have offered eat out to help out scheme. Those who want to survive, I mean, those 50 percentage you can claim back from the government, even though you're giving a discounts to the diners. And plus, furlough scheme is been activated. I mean, some of your staff has been furloughed, and some of them are working. So still, you can maintain your team back. I mean, instead of redundancy. So all this going on now. Now people are requesting a government. Can you extend the furlough to only cope up with the second wave? I mean, no one knows what's going to happen. I mean, everyone is predicted. I mean, this might happen. I personally feel like they are doing in their maximum to cope up with the situation.
And what do you think are the lessons this, this initiative in London holds for India? What can we learn from that?
The thing is, like, I mean, you have to act collectively. When there is no individualism coming, or any particular group can survive on, rest they don't. I mean, it's all interconnected. I mean, government has to act something, or particular groups, or particular restaurants, or particular brands, can't do anything individually. That's what I personally feel like. They may able to do some discounts, or they may able to do some sort of offers to run around for a certain period. That is the only criteria. That's the only thing what restaurants. I mean, otherwise, the government level they have to come up with something else. One of the main thing is foreigners. I mean, over here, what happens is the foreign borders were closed and people are not flying in. So that might definitely affect the hospitality sectors in India. I mean, India is very well known for its tourism sectors. So our 60-70 percentage of the hospitality income is related to the tourists. They are flying in or flying back. So it has to have it's a time to away the world. Okay, now I don't think so it's possible, but to away the world. Okay, now we are back safely back to run the operations for the tourism. So we have to such coming. I mean, we used to have that incredible India ads everywhere. I mean, something like that had to come out to say the world or educate the world. Okay, India is back with all the precautionary methods um, to welcome our tourists. So if people are flying or fly back, I mean, industry will get the life back, and that's what I personally feel.
Yeah, but besides opening the international borders, there's also the domestic market for India, which is very large. So, what can the restaurants do to attract the domestic market?
See, local offers. I mean, if any particular area is quite well known for this locally tourisms, so I mean restaurants have to come up with the really good offers of saying that okay, if you dine in or if you be a part of our group or loyalty cards. I mean, there are lots of things are happening around. So only thing they have to let the people educate, so we are safe. So people are not traveling, on people are not coming in only because for the Taj like property of a big branded hotels. So they are very well known and they know what they're doing and people know what they're offering. Its only problem is that what everyone has got the fear inside. I mean, okay, what happens if we go out, if I go out? So that if that fear has to come out, that I mean, then people will follow and people will start traveling.
And Shiv, with the Lalit London opening now in September, what have you thought on the dining front? What will be the experiences you'll be offering? And I'm not talking about social distancing, of course, all that is there, hygiene, social distancing. But in terms of food, in terms of dining, what can they expect?
Okay, from the hotel side, what we are looking for is like we are not operating the huge menu what we used to have. We minimized our menu at the same time. We kept all our regular high selling items kept in the menu. There is no point keep everything back at the same time. The diners ratio is very less, so there is no point keeping everything back. So what we are thinking as a personal side of the chef side or the GM side, keep keep it short, keep it simple, and get people a good range of variations of what they can eat. Feed fresh, feed good food, and give the best hospitality. I mean, people will definitely back. That is what we are aiming. I mean, what you are giving, give the best.
Will the
And
menu change in any way?
I mean, yeah, winter. I mean, every time, every season, so we do change the menu. We have summer and spring menu we combined, and winter and autumn menu we combined. So we have two menu changes in every year. Obviously, autumn is going to hit, so we are changing the menu anyway. So I have created something. I mean, we won't. I was just behind, working behind it. It's almost all done. It's getting ready for the printing and everything. A menu is offering very highly selling items from the menu. At the same time, winter vegetables are hitting to the menus as such. So what I'm thinking, we used to have a 6 months one menu. So in fact, that I mean, we are aiming a menu to keep it 2 or 3 months. When the scenario is back, we can I mean fully fledged the old menu back.
Absolutely. And I also wanted to ask you, in some sense, in London, are hotels allowed to? I mean, do they? Is there a way that people can walk in and eat at a restaurant in a hotel, even if they're not staying at the hotel? For instance, in India, only people who are staying in a hotel can now access the restaurant in the hotel. What is it like in London
See,
or in
I'm not
UK across the
yeah,
country?
I'm not sure about the all the hotels are running the restaurants in London, but Lalit London, yeah, we do have so we are a hotel. We do have a restaurant called Baluchi. It's one of our prime restaurants. Many of the Lalit hotels has. We do offer our restaurants to outside world, not only the rooms in-house guests. So what happens is our restaurant is fully open for the all the diners. So they, I mean, we are welcoming everyone. So
And
I
even
mean,
after it opens, it will be open
yes,
to everybody.
yes.
So it's
And
not just a hotel.
another scenario, we used to have 100 plus I mean, 100 plus percentage of booking. I mean, there is no one to stay in the rooms. I mean, people are not flying in, so there is no point you open a restaurant only for you. I mean, others I'm so talking about. I'm not ours. I mean, we are open for everyone. So there is no point keep the restaurant open for only the in-house guests. I mean, there is no in-house guests in many of the hotels.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
So they
Just
might force to open for everyone.
okay, great. And just one more last question: what have you been cooking and eating yourself in the during the lockdown? What are the kind of experimentations you've done with food? Would any of it also see its way into your menu?
Definitely. I mean, in the initial stage, it was very tough for me. As you know, you might very personally contact with many of the chefs. Uh, I mean, they used to be very lively. I mean, so sitting in a home for doing nothing was a heartbreaking scenario. It's like shouting everywhere. It's like running everywhere. That kind of physical activity every chef's had. So initially, it's got trapped me also in. I mean, it was like, I mean, what do I do? I mean, I used to come back home around at 1 a.m. 1:30 a.m. in the middle of the night. So after 6 or 7 6:30 p.m. for everyone is a dinner time and go to the bed. For me, 6:30 in the afternoon in the evening means like a still lunch time going on, or still high chat time going on. We have still night pending. I mean, people goes to the bed around at 8:30 or 9. So I used to head the bed around at 2 a.m. in the morning. So it was quite difficult to handle situation, but yes, got a chance to be with the family. Uh, I was completely a family man. My wife used to complain a lot. I mean, I have seen all the dishes pictures in your phone, but I didn't get a chance to eat any of them. So now I have completely rectified off. I mean, I'm feeding them with my own expertise and food. Sometimes she used to take my phone and check my gallery. I mean, can you find out any of my kids and for wife pictures in my phone? It's all filled with food, filled with ingredients, filled with kitchen utensils and all that. That was a scenario what we've gone through. But yes, I am a person who try to dig all the. I mean, any positivity with the current scenario. Yes, there's no point to live in negativity. So
So what did you cook? What have you
so what
experimented?
happens is, I mean, with the local markets, we have a small garden outside. We started growing our own vegetables. Tomatoes are coming in. Some other beans are, I mean, runner beans are coming in. Some potatoes are planted. So all those we started cooking them on. Then fish was one of the main thing, and I myself doing some experiments with the food. I mean, what I have gone through, I mean, in many of the recipes you can see in Instagram, I'm developing in such a pattern called uneasy recipes. I have recently put a grilled chicken pulao. How can you make it very easily? So even though, I mean, a pulao has got a very long process, but how can you tackle it in minutes time? So what is the scenario behind it? Chicken curry in 15 minutes. Uh, how can you do that? I mean, that's what I'm developing. I mean, easy recipes out. I mean, yeah. After lockdown, people are back to their daily shifts, so everyone will be running here and there for their daily breads. So time will be the one of the main lacking points. So in that time span, how can we have a good meal? I mean, that was a thought coming into my mind. I'm developing some recipes. I'm developing some 1 minute, 2 minute videos. So I'm keeping them in my Instagram so people can educate themselves. How can you feed a good meal in less time? And plus, everyone says food platings and what to call like art of plating and everything is fully the hotel chefs. When it's quite hard for them to do it in the home. So I challenged myself, well, why can't I do it in home? So what all pictures you're seeing from last 5 months in my Instagram, everything I cooked at home, I prepared home, and I plated in home. And I do try to educate people about this, how you should plate it. I mean, these are the scenarios you should keep in mind while you're doing your plating. So I'm keeping myself, uh, what to call like, engaged in all these activities instead of sitting in a sofas or watching TV. So I'm quite lively active, and then there are people inviting me for Instagram live cooking. Some really good pages. I mean, there was some page called Vegetarian Hotspot. They invited me. So if we had a vegetarian week going on in London, so they invited me for one. Chef, it's vegetarian week. Why don't you cook a vegetarian dish for me? So I have made an aubergine steak with the makhani sauce. Uh, so that's how. So I'm getting it more lively. I'm getting more attention in the lockdown because of my recipes and my food platings. So I'm just letting the world know that this is not only for the five-star chefs or fine dining head chefs who can do the plating. It's a simple things you can even do at home. You can surprise your guest, or you can surprise even your kids. So simple things. I'm not sophisticating with the culinary science into it. I mean, very simple things. I just put some fennel seeds into one of my garden pot. So I got some fennels, pops coming up. So I used to do that for the garnish. And people are not aware. I mean, rose petals I got in garden. So thinly sliced or thinly julienne rose petals we can do it for garnish. I mean, it's give a complete new look for the plate. So in simple things, what you have at home, you can make your plate much better way. So these were all in action. Yes, I was, and I tried to dig out all the childhood recipes back, and I that's what I'm currently doing. I used to call mom if any doubts. I asked her how it's been done. So I try to dig out those recipes, and I given a new look in a presentation. I mean, I don't compromise the recipe. I do the present. I mean, I do the whole cooking at the same as such, or the old recipe says, and I try to give a new look for the dish. I mean, this how fine dining plating should be with your local food.
Sounds interesting. Sounds interesting. Thank you so much for sharing your insights and
Thank you so
details
much.
about what you've been doing with us. Thank you for being with Telegram.
It's a pleasure
Thank
as all
you.
mine, ma'am.